Hello friends, and welcome back for another episode on the 380 SL. In today's video we are finally taking out the 380 SL for a drive, and yesterday we did oil change on it. So I wanted to capture the how to change oil on a 380 SL. There is a lot of videos on YouTube on how to do it. What I'm gonna cover here is a brief summary on how to go about getting it done and what to look for. Here's the oil that I like to use, and I'll explain to you why this is what you need to use. Especially if you live in a more climate, cold climate, I meant to say, and obviously by now your car is old. It's a 40-year-old car and it has higher miles. So this is a brand that I like. I'm not trying to advertise Mobil 1 or anything, but I like this brand. But I also like to add a bottle of this anti-friction MOS2. There's a lot of good benefits that you can get from putting one of these. Make sure you account for it in the oil, or you can just buy the liquid moly oil with that additive in it. It's your call. It just costs a lot more. What you need is you need a 14mm hex or Allen wrench style, and that is to remove the oil pan bolt. It's underneath. So that's, one of your major steps of changing the oil. After you have lifted the car up, I like to use these yellow jacks, ramps over there. But just make sure you're doing it correctly and safely. Make sure that your rear tires are supported with something solid. I like to use these to just prevent the car from potentially rolling back. And yeah, so you need to take the bolt out, and then your oil will drain down. And once your oil drains down, obviously you let it complete draining. Make sure you have the proper equipment. I have an oil draining bucket that I bought a long time ago, and I use it for all of my vehicles. When that's done, you clean your plug, clean it good, use the new washer. I know people that like to use the same washer, but a new washer comes with almost every filter out there for this vehicle. So make sure you use the new washer, and there is no torque spec. I tried to look for a torque spec. If anybody knows a torque spec for the 380 SL, go ahead and put it in the comments. I looked in the manual, I looked online, I looked in forums. There's no torque spec. So just give it a nice, good torque, tighten it good. Make sure that the copper washer is crushing on itself. It's being crushed to create a good seal. The only purpose and goal of the drain plug is to let the oil out, and only when you're doing an oil change, and not to leak or drip otherwise. There's no need for anything else. So the torque, just make sure you tighten it good. Don't overdo it. There's no need to, either make it difficult for yourself to take it out the next time, or ruin your pan, ruin the threads. Next is your filter. Your filter uses, I believe, a 17mm. Yep, a 17mm. So same thing. You need to take out your oil filter. They're both underneath. Your oil pan plug is on this side, the driver's side, and then your filter is on the right side. Once you've had your air filter down, it's messy, it's gonna leak. So take your time. Make sure your arms are covered. Make sure the oil is not too hot, and when that's out, make sure you don't lose any of the parts, and you know the order. So the order is Um, the copper washer goes on the long screw first from the outside. Then the screw goes back in the filter after you have given it a really nice cleaning. And then you put the spring and then the stainless steel washer. I believe it's stainless steel. I'm not sure if it looks shiny and stainless looking. And then you put the new filter. When you put the new filter, make sure the narrow opening goes in first. So the wider opening is on the outside. And then you screw it back on. Same thing. For that I forgot. You put the seal, the new seal, and make sure you use some fresh oil to seal to cover the new seal, the rubber seal, and take your time putting it back in, and make sure you don't cross thread it, and then you tighten it. Again, there is no torque specs. If anybody knows the torque specs, please put them in the comment. You tighten that, and now you are pretty much done underneath. On the top, you have to refill your vehicle with fresh oil. You use your oil filler cap, which you've already removed at some point, so that the rest of all the oil can come down and in the pan. And I like to put 1 gallon, which is 5 quarts. And then after that, I will put the 3 quarts. So I'll put 8 quarts, take it for a spin, and then go from there, because you don't want to put 8.5, which is what it calls for on the manual, with a filter, and then find out that because the way you raised your car, whether you raised it on a lift or a jack or didn't raise it at all, you had some oil pocketing somewhere in the engine case. So start with the 8 quart, take it for a spin, let that new oil, warm up, go everywhere it needs to go. Come back, park it, let it cool. Give it half an hour, a minimum of 15 minutes. You want to let that new fresh oil settle. It's going to be much thicker, much more viscous, so it's not going to settle as fast as the old oil. You need to let it settle, and then use your dipstick to see where you stand. You're most definitely going to have to add the 0.3 of a quart, but I'd rather not overfill ever. It's very damaging. Being short, 0.3 quart, is nowhere near as damaging as having extra oil. And then in my case, because I used the MOS2 additive, I only needed 8.2, because the 300 milliliter is accounted for in the math, and then I only needed 8.2 quart, which I have not added the 0.2 because my dipstick is telling me that I'm good where I need to be. So I'm gonna drive it more as it is and keep checking my old oil dipstick. Another project that we did is that we were lucky to find the original brushed aluminum wipers, and we salvaged them from I believe a 450 SEL, and we used those. I don't know if you've noticed in the previous episodes, I had black wipers that I recently bought. So we salvaged the brushed aluminum, and that's another piece of detail that I like, and I think it gives the car a lot of nice touch added to the original look of the vehicle. However, the rubber blades on the wipers was completely deteriorated, so we had to order those. If you are looking to order ones, let me know in the comments. I'll add the link where I got mine. So we got the new rubber seals, and we've added them on here. It wasn't hard, it was pretty easy, so I can, if you need to know how to do that, I can do a little tutorial on how to do it. So yeah, these are the another two little projects we did, and little bit by little bit, the vehicle is coming back together. More projects, more small projects on this gentle restoration. There is no need for complete restoration. The car is in a great shape. There were just few items here and there that, you know, just I wanted to give them more attention and bring them back. One day I'll get the original emblem and one that is painted. Mine, the paint is completely gone, and I'm still looking for a more affordable. These are very expensive. I did not realize that when I first saw this. I'm like, oh yeah, not a big deal. Probably find it online for, you know, 20, 50 bucks. And it's not the case. These are 300 euros if you want the real original one. Crazy. But hey, I gotta keep it on budget, and we're bringing this baby back in shape one day at a time. So thank you for watching. Appreciate your time. Hope you enjoyed today's video. And now we're off for a drive, so we'll capture more for you guys. Thank you for your time. Please subscribe. Have a good day.